So when you grow up and have a family, you'll be coming to the laundromat too.
Every week?
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather be dirty.
Oh, it ain't nice to be dirty.
I don't mind.
Now, would you take this and get me 4 quarters for the machine?
Okay.
Allow me, Mrs. Bunker.
Oh, Mr. Clemmer!
I saw you from the outside and I had to come and say
Oh,
hello,
well, hello. How are you?
Oh, your hand smells nice.
Oh, it's Ajax, the foamy cleanser. Oh, Lord, it is so nice to see you. Oh, thank you. This is my little grandniece, Stephanie.
Oh, küss die Hand, Fräulein Stephanie. You like that, huh?
Yeah, your beard feels like a dog.
Oh, see, this is Mr. Clemmer, Steffi. He's the butcher.
Yes, and I'm very sorry your aunt doesn't come to my shop anymore. We had a wonderful relationship. I was in love with her smile, and she was in love with my liver.
I hate liver.
Oh, Mr. Clemmer.
Albrecht.
Oh, yeah, Albrecht.
That's much better, Edith.
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 My Uncle Archie hates liver too.
Come, sit. Let's sit down. Let's sit down.
Mr. Clemmer.
No.
Oh, yeah, I mean Albrecht. You look wonderful.
I know. That's because I have wonderful news. I am going to get married.
Married? You're gonna get married?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, well, what's her name?
Well,
Where did you meet her?
we met in-
When is it gonna be?
We haven't
Well,
fig-
tell me all about it.
Well, in the first place, it is because she reminds me a lot about you. Maybe that's why I fell in love with her.
My Uncle Archie says liver gives me the spoopsia.
She don't remind you of me. She reminds you of your wife who passed away. 'Cause you always said that I reminded you of her. So you don't mean that she reminds you of me. You mean that she reminds you of your wife who passed away. Of course, I always reminded you of her, so she don't remind you of me. She reminds you of her, not me. See?
Yes. And she looks a lot like you. Oh, and she has a name like yours. Judith.
Albrecht, I'm so happy for you.
You have no idea. She is bright, intelligent. She loves music. She cooks good. And she loves me. What could be better? Oh, I would love for you to meet my Liebchen.
Oh, I'd love to. Why don't you come to our house tonight for homemade cake and coffee, and you can bring Miss Liebchen.
That would be wonderful. Oh, but Liebchen isn't her name. That means loved one.
Oh, ain't that nice?
Oh, maybe we could sit around the piano and sing like we did the last time.
yeah.
Oh, when I'm calling you.
Will you answer?
Hold it. Put that back here. Give me a break, will you? Let me finish my dinner. Don't you see them 2 beans laying there?
They're gonna be here any minute.
Oh, God. My one night off in a week. And I gotta spend it with Clemmer, the horny hun.
Archie, please, be nice. He's getting married, and he's very proud. He wants to show us his Liebchen.
Let him show it to his girlfriend. I ain't interested in you.
The Liebchen is the girlfriend.
Well, I ain't interested in hers neither. All right, you can take my dish now.
Well, what about the beans?
I don't want them.
Thank you.
But I don't know why you feel you have to be nice to that guy. He ain't your butcher no more.
Oh, now that he's getting married, I can go back to his store. He don't care about me no more.
Oh, jeez, that's what you think. You don't know nothing about Germans, Edith. You know, the Germans ain't never satisfied with what they got. You look it up. It's a well-known historical fact. They gave him an inch of Czechoslovakia, and they took Poland. Which proves the Germans ain't none too smart, neither.
Archie, why don't you like company?
I like company, Edith. I just don't want it to come over to visit.
Well, they're coming tonight, so please be nice. Just this once.
Don't keep telling me be nice. I want to tell you something. If I have to be nice, I can be very, very nice. Ah, damn, I'd like to wire that doorbell to a wet doormat. The damn Germans. Always on time. They think they could be a little late like the rest of the world.
See, you get the door, and I'll get the coffee and the cake. And remember, be nice.
Yeah. Go over Augustine then. Well, but that's my old pal, Al Clement here. How are you there, Al?
Good evening, Mr. Bunker.
Yeah, at ease there, Chancellor. Well, long time no see. In other words, Alf, my Wiedersehen, and hey, Alf, yours too. Well, don't stand on the porch, Al. As long as you're here, you might as well come on in, huh? You too. Yeah, just step right in there. And you can put your hats and coats on the available hooks over here. Yeah.
This is my fiancée, Judith Klammerstadt.
How do you do?
How do you do, Mr. Wasn't that again?
Klammerstadt.
Got it.
I've heard a lot about you, Mr. Bunker.
Well, you know, friends will talk, but listen, hey, I ain't half as nice as people say I am. Yeah, well, come on in, and just make yourselves at home, you know, sit down anywhere you want. Oh, yeah, except for this here chair there, Miss, what do you call it? Because this chair, it's in a hell of a cross draft here.
Cross draft? Why don't you move it?
You want to look at a hole in the rug?
No.
Yeah, all right, then do what I tell you. Park yourself on the Davenport. It's just as comfortable. Yeah, sit down. I say, eat it out there. They're here. Edith's inside making coffee, yes. Well, huh?
Well.
Do you think Martin Bormann is still down in Brazil?
All I know is he never walked into my butcher shop in Queens.
Oh, then I guess she's still down in Brazil. Hurry on out there, Edith, will you? I'm running out of nice things to say.
Here we are.
Here, let me help you.
Yeah, it's all right there, Al. I mean, she's used to carrying things alone.
Thank you.
My, don't we look nice this evening?
Oh, Mr. Clement. Oh, Albrecht.
Edith, this is my fiancée, Judith.
Wait till you hear the last name there, Rita. Tell her, Al.
Klammerstadt.
Don't that give you a little chill?
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Oh, Miss...
And I got it. Klammerstock.
Klammerstadt. Thank you. It is very nice to meet you, too.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure you'll both be very happy. Oh, look, Archie. Ain't that beautiful?
It is my engagement ring.
Yes, who gave it to her?
Edith, get with it,
You!
Yeah, whoop-de-doo and knock tongue there, Al. Hey, how many cows did you have to club to death to pay for that?
It's so romantic.
I don't know what it is. There's something about Judith that reminds me of you.
Really?
Hey, Al, I can't see nothing but your rump roast.
Albrecht speaks often of you.
Yes, because you are a special person.
Now, watch this here, because this is where he lose control of himself there, Miss Clement.
But then so are you, Liebchen.
Well, Edith, how about coffee, huh?
Oh, yeah. I got it. And cake, too. Are you hungry?
No, I'm just drowsy.
I thought first we were going to sing some songs.
Well, why don't you drink some coffee? You need a lot of cake there. Maybe you'll be too full to sing.
Oh, no, we won't. Oh, would you like to sing along with us, Judith?
No, thank you. I am not a good singer.
Yeah, well, the hell with the coffee, then. You two just zing, and us two will just zip.
Come on, Albrecht. You pick the song.
Come along, Mr. Bunker. Come sing with us.
Nah. You're out of my league, Al.
Oh, we're not that good.
That's what I mean now. Well, what are you looking for there? A march?
Oh, a love song.
Get a load of that, huh? They're looking for a love song there, Miss Klammerstadt.
Klammerstadt.
Well, hey, I'm getting closer, though, huh?
Whoop-de-doo, as you say. Here, this is a good one.
Oh, yeah, this is pretty.
I love you. I love you. Is all that I can say. I love you. The same old word I'm saying in the same old way. I love you. I love you.
Hey, Al. I think you just lost half of your audience here.
Judith! Is something wrong?
Everything is wrong. I am in the way here. You don't love me. You love her, the wife of the fatso.
I don't love her.
No, he don't love me.
Well, he certainly loves your hands. He's always trying to get them in his mouth.
I don't love her.
Yeah, Herr Bunker is right. You do that. You don't look at me the way you look at her. You don't sing love songs with me.
You don't have a piano.
Und you don't have a Liebchen.
Oh, well, if he ain't got a Liebchen, he ain't gonna make much of a husband.
Here is shooting. The wedding is off.
Judith, Judith, what are you doing? Nein, 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 nein.
The Battle of the Bulge. Oh, well, it's your fault. You're a sex pot, you know that?
No, I ain't. Come on.
Mich nicht an.
Jetzt sei doch vernünftig.
Stell mir einen Wagen, ich fahre nach Hause.
Aber Judith!
Don't aber Judith me, call me a taxi.
Man kann verrückt werden! Lovers quarrel.
We found your ring.
What am I going to do? She won't even listen to me. Please, Edith, maybe you can talk to her.
Oh, no. I won't allow that. You stay out of this thing, Edith. In their Garden of Eden, you're the crabgrass.
Well, somebody has to talk to her.
Oh, hold it. Not me there. Hey, come on, don't look over here. I ain't no dear baby.
Mr. Bunker, when she's in this mood, a human being can talk to her. You talk to her.
Listen now, there's an old saying. Hell hath no fury like a woman's corns. Now, I never knew what that meant, but I always deeply believed in it.
But you're forgetting, Mr. Bunker, that an attractive man can always do more with a woman. And there's no use denying. You are an attractive man.
This comes as a big surprise to me. You know, this is why Rome fell. Europeans, you go for any kind of flesh as long as it's a little warm. If you want that woman back, and I took a good look at her, and I don't know what you see in her. Okay? You will march out there to the kitchen, and I mean mad, and you give her the old Mach Schnell, and I mean loud there, and you grab a hold of her, you know, the way you used to take us prisoners, remember? And then the two of you get the hell out of here.
Oh, gee, that ain't no way to do it.
Well, that's my best shot, Edith. You come up with something better.
Yes, please.
Well, all right, I'll try.
Now, Edith, if you're gonna talk to her, talk through the door, huh? I mean, don't go in there. That woman's liable to come at you like Doberman's pincher.
You, Judy. Can I come in? Are you comfy? We found your ring.
You can keep it. I am not going to marry a dumb Kopf who makes cow eyes at you.
Albrecht don't love me. He loves you. I just remind him of his dead wife who passed away. You know, Albrecht is a very unusual man. He's a sweet and loving person, and he shows that to everybody he likes, not just me, everybody. That's the way he is. And ain't it wonderful that he can do that, show everybody that he likes them? But you're the one he loves, I know that. And I know you love him, too. So if you let him go, you'll be the dumb cough, whatever that is. Have a piece of cake. It'll make you feel better.
Oh, what happened? What did she say? Did she change her mind?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, she's thinking.
Thinking about what?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Hold it down there, will you, Al? See, this ain't Stalag Swansea 4, huh? This is a businessman's quiet home in Queens. Nobody ever hollers around here. Now, if Edith says she don't know, she don't know. That's the one thing she does know.
I am sorry.
Well, you should be there, Blue Angel.
And I want to thank Edith. Edith, thank you.
You're welcome.
Liebchen, I am sorry I caused you all this trouble.
No. It was I who caused all this trouble.
No, it was I.
No, it was I.
No, it was I.
It was
Hey, hold it there, will you? The eyes have it over there. Why don't you both kiss and make up and fly to Milwaukee?
Schatzi. Meine Teure, ich liebe dich.
Mein Teure, ich liebe dich.
Du liegst mir im Herzen, du
liegst mir im
Ain't that sweet?
It's just like the Jerry's, Edith. They can't even wind up a love scene without singing a battle hymn.
The golden haze of memory often paints the past in colors far more vibrant than the present. It was a time when the melodies of Glenn Miller drifted through the airwaves, creating a symphony for the soul and defining the hits that everyone hummed along the sun-drenched streets. For men of a certain era, life felt solid and earned. They had it made, or so it seemed in the rearview mirror of history. Those were the days when the world felt properly aligned. You knew exactly where you stood and what was expected of you. Girls were girls, carrying an air of grace, and men were men, shoulders squared against the weight of the world. In the quiet reflections of a living room in Queens, one might sigh and think that the world could truly use a man like Herbert Hoover again. Back then, there was no reliance on a sprawling welfare state. Every individual pulled their own weight, contributing to the collective strength of the neighborhood. Even the old Los Alamos facility seemed to run with a precision that felt right. Those were the days that lingered in the heart like a favorite song. The rhythmic thumping of washing machines provided a mechanical heartbeat to the local laundromat, a place where the scent of soap and the humidity of steam created a world of its own. Edith Bunker stood there, surrounded by the mundane beauty of domestic chores, looking down at her little grandniece, Stephanie. With a gentle smile, Edith explained that growing up and having a family meant a lifetime of visits to this very place. Stephanie, with the wide-eyed skepticism of youth, asked if they would have to come every single week. When Edith confirmed the reality of the laundry cycle, the little girl declared with stubborn innocence that she would rather just stay dirty. Edith chuckled softly, reminding the child that it was not nice to be dirty, but Stephanie remained unconvinced, claiming she did not mind at all. The interaction was interrupted by the need for change. Edith asked Stephanie to take some money and get 4 quarters for the machine. Before the girl could move, a voice filled with old-world charm and booming enthusiasm cut through the sound of sloshing water. "Allow me, Mrs. Bunker," the voice said. Edith turned, her face lighting up with genuine surprise. It was Mr. Albrecht Clemmer. He approached her with a flourish, explaining that he had seen her through the glass from the outside and simply had to come in to say hello. His greeting was a triple chorus of warmth as he asked how she was doing. As they shook hands, Edith noted that his hand smelled remarkably pleasant. Albrecht laughed, revealing that it was the scent of Ajax, the foamy cleanser. It was a moment of pure, neighborly connection. Edith introduced him to little Stephanie, and Albrecht, ever the gentleman, asked the young lady to kiss his hand, calling her Fräulein Stephanie. The girl giggled, noting that his beard felt exactly like the fur of a dog. Edith quickly explained to the child that Mr. Clemmer was a butcher, though Albrecht corrected her with a touch of playful sadness, noting that he was sorry Edith did not frequent his shop anymore. He spoke of their wonderful relationship, claiming he had been in love with her smile, while she had been in love with his liver. Stephanie, ever honest, interjected that she hated liver. Albrecht looked at Edith with eyes that held years of respect and a new, flickering light of excitement. He told her she looked wonderful, and he admitted that his own glow came from wonderful news. He was going to get married. The announcement filled the laundromat with a sense of celebration. Edith was overjoyed, peppering him with questions about the lucky woman's name, where they had met, and when the ceremony would take place. Albrecht explained that he fell in love with her because she reminded him so much of Edith herself. However, Stephanie chose that moment to mention that her uncle Archie also hated liver because it gave him dyspepsia. The word hung in the air, a humorous malapropism typical of the Bunker household. Edith, focused on the romance, tried to clarify Albrecht's feelings. She suggested that perhaps this new woman did not remind him of Edith directly, but rather of his late wife, who had passed away. Since Albrecht had always said Edith reminded him of his wife, the connection was a beautiful, circular tribute to the women he admired. Albrecht agreed, noting that his fiancée, Judith, looked a lot like Edith and even had a similar name. He described Judith as bright, intelligent, a lover of music, and an excellent cook. Most importantly, she loved him. In a gesture of pure kindness, Edith invited Albrecht and his Liebchen to their home that very evening for homemade cake and coffee. She suggested they might even sit around the piano and sing, just like they had in the old days. Albrecht was touched by the invitation, and as they parted, the echoes of a song about calling and answering drifted through the air, promising a night of harmony. Back at the Bunker residence, the atmosphere was somewhat less harmonious. Archie Bunker sat at the dinner table, his focus entirely on the beans remaining on his plate. He was not pleased about the impending visitors. He grumbled about his one night off in a week being spent with Clemmer, whom he referred to with his usual colorful and grumpy labels. Edith pleaded with him to be nice, reminding him that Albrecht was proud and wanted to show off his fiancée. Archie remained unimpressed, claiming he had no interest in seeing anyone's Liebchen. Archie's disdain for the visit was rooted in his peculiar brand of worldly philosophy. He argued with Edith about the nature of Germans, claiming they were never satisfied with what they had. He cited historical grievances as if they were personal affronts, grumbling about Czechoslovakia and asserting that his lack of desire for company was not a dislike of people, but a dislike of people visiting his home. Edith, ever the peacemaker, begged him to be nice just this once. Archie retorted that if he had to be nice, he could be very, very nice, though he followed this with a wish to wire the doorbell to a wet doormat. When the doorbell finally rang, punctually as Archie expected of Germans, he greeted Albrecht and his fiancée, Judith Klammerstadt, with a mix of forced hospitality and his trademark biting wit. He called Albrecht chancellor and told him to be at ease, throwing in a few mangled German phrases for good measure. He ushered them in, though he strictly forbade Judith from sitting in his favorite chair, claiming it was in a dangerous cross draft. When she questioned why he did not simply move the chair, Archie pointed out that doing so would reveal a hole in the rug. The evening progressed into the living room, where the tension between Archie's grumpiness and Albrecht's exuberance was palpable. Edith arrived with coffee and cake, and the group attempted to find common ground. Albrecht spoke highly of Edith, which clearly bothered Judith. The fiancé's jealousy began to simmer beneath the surface. When Albrecht suggested they sing a love song, the choice of lyrics about saying I love you in the same old way proved to be the breaking point. Judith abruptly halted the music, declaring that everything was wrong. She felt like an intruder, accusing Albrecht of loving Edith instead of her. She pointed out that Albrecht looked at Edith with a special light and sang love songs with her, things he did not do with Judith. The situation devolved into a flurry of accusations and hurt feelings. Judith, in a fit of pique, declared the engagement off and prepared to leave. Albrecht was devastated. He turned to Edith, begging her to speak to Judith. Archie tried to forbid Edith from getting involved, calling her the crabgrass in their Garden of Eden. But Albrecht insisted that an attractive and sensible man like Archie could surely do something, a compliment that took Archie by surprise and momentarily softened his stance. Archie suggested that Albrecht should go into the kitchen and use a firm, commanding tone to win her back, but Edith knew a gentler touch was required. Edith followed Judith into the kitchen. With her characteristic empathy, she spoke to the younger woman through the door at first, then face to face. She explained that Albrecht did not love her in a romantic way. He simply saw her as a reminder of the kindness and the past he cherished. Edith told Judith that Albrecht was an unusually sweet and loving person who showed his affection to everyone he liked. She assured Judith that she was the one he truly loved. Edith's sincerity and the offer of a piece of cake began to melt Judith's icy resolve. In the end, the power of simple communication and a warm heart prevailed. Judith and Albrecht reconciled in the middle of the bunker living room. They apologized to one another, their voices thick with emotion. Albrecht called her his dear, his treasure, and his love. Even Archie, watching the scene unfold, could not help but comment on the dramatic nature of the reconciliation, comparing it to a grand opera. As the couple prepared to leave, the house was filled with the sounds of their renewed affection. The evening that had begun with grumbling and jealousy ended with a quiet realization that love, much like a well-worn song, sometimes needs a little harmony to find its right notes again. The world seemed to turn a little slower in the memories of those who lived through the golden age of radio and the soaring brass sections of the big bands. It was a time when the air felt thick with the promise of a simple life, and the music of Glenn Miller provided the heartbeat for a generation. Boy, the way Glenn Miller played, those songs that made the hit parade were more than just tunes. They were the anthems of a life where guys like Archie and his peers had it made. Those were the days, or so the song went, echoing through the halls of a modest house in Queens. It was a time when you knew exactly where you stood. Girls were girls and men were men, and there was a collective yearning for a leader with the perceived steadfastness of Herbert Hoover. In those days, the concept of a welfare state was a distant thought because everyone pulled his weight. From the bustling streets of New York to the scientific enclaves like Los Alamos, there was a sense that things ran great. A morning at the laundromat. The scent of detergent and the rhythmic thumping of heavy machines filled the air at the local laundromat. Edith Bunker, a woman whose heart was as wide as the borough itself, stood amidst the steam and the swirling suds. She looked down at her little grandniece, Stephanie, with a smile that could outshine any neon sign on Broadway. "So when you grow up and have a family, you'll be coming to the laundromat too," Edith said, her voice lilting with a natural, maternal warmth. The young girl looked up, her brow furrowed in skepticism. "Every week?" she asked, as if the idea of such a routine was a monumental burden. "Oh, yeah," Edith replied with a cheerful nod. "I would rather be dirty," Stephanie declared with the stubborn honesty of childhood. Edith chuckled, shaking her head gently. It is not nice to be dirty, she reminded the girl. I do not mind, Stephanie countered, her eyes wandering to the vibrant colors of the soap boxes lining the shelves. Edith reached into her purse, searching for the necessary change to keep their afternoon chores moving. Would you take this and get me 4 quarters for the machine? She asked, handing Stephanie a bill. The girl took the money and skipped toward the change machine, leaving Edith for a moment of quiet reflection amidst the hum of the dryers. Suddenly, a boisterous and familiar voice broke through the ambient noise of the laundromat. Allow me, Mistress Funk? Edith turned to see a familiar face beaming at her. Oh, Mr. Quinn, she exclaimed, her face lighting up. I saw you from the outside and I had to come and say hello, hello, hello. The man cried, his enthusiasm practically vibrating in the small space. He reached out and took Edith's hand with a flourish.
How are you?
Oh, your hand smells nice. Edith blushed slightly, a modest smile playing on her lips. Oh, it is Ajax, the foamy cleanser, she explained. Oh, it is so nice to meet you, Mr. Quinn replied, his admiration evident. Oh, thank you, Edith said, feeling a surge of genuine gratitude for the simple kindness. She gestured toward the young girl returning from the change machine. This is my little grandniece, Stephanie. Mr. Quinn bowed low. Oh, kiss the hand, Fräulein Stephanie, he said with a playful wink. Stephanie giggled as his whiskers tickled her skin. You like that? He asked. Your beard feels like a dog, Stephanie remarked, causing Edith to gasp slightly in surprise at the girl's bluntness. Oh, see, this is Mr. Clemmer, Edith corrected, turning back to Stephanie. Stephanie, he is a butcher. Yes, Albrecht Clemmer added, his expression turning slightly wistful. And I am very sorry your aunt has not come to my shop anymore. We had a wonderful relationship. I was in love with her smile, and she was in love with my liver. Stephanie made a face of pure disgust. I hate liver, she stated flatly. Oh, Mr. Clemmer, Edith said, her voice softening. Albrecht, he corrected her gently. Oh, yeah, Albrecht, Edith agreed. That is much better, Edith.
Edith.
Edith. He repeated her name as if it were a melody. My Uncle Archie hates liver. Too, Stephanie added, reminding them of the opinionated man waiting for them at home. Albrecht chuckled and gestured to a row of plastic chairs.
Come, sit.
Let us sit down, let us sit down. Oh, Mr. Clemmer, Edith began, but he held up a hand. No, he insisted. Oh, yeah, I mean Albrecht, Edith corrected herself again. You look wonderful. I know, Albrecht replied with a confident grin. That is because I have wonderful news. I am going to get married. Edith's eyes widened in genuine delight. Married? You're going to get married? Oh, that is wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you, Albrecht beamed. Well, what is her name? Edith asked, leaning in with interest. Where did you meet her? When is it going to be?
Tell me all about it.
Well, in the first place, Albrecht began, his voice taking on a tender quality, it is because she reminds me a lot about you. Maybe that is why I fell in love with her. Stephanie, still preoccupied with her thoughts on food, chimed in again. My Uncle Archie says liver gives him dyspepsia.
What?
Albrecht asked, momentarily confused. Edith, however, was focused on Albrecht's comparison. She does not remind you of me. She reminds you of your wife, who passed away. Because you always said that I reminded you of her.
So you do not mean that she reminds you of me.
You mean that she reminds you of your wife, who passed away. Because I always reminded you of her. So she does not remind you of me. She reminds you of her, not me.
See?
Albrecht nodded, though he seemed a bit dizzy from Edith's rapid-fire logic.
Yes.
And she looks a lot like you. Oh, and she has a name like yours. Judith. Oh, Mr. Albrecht, I am so happy for you, Edith said, her heart full. You have no idea. She is bright, intelligent. Albrecht continued, counting her virtues on his fingers. She loves music. She cooks good. And she loves me. What could be better? Oh, I would love for you to meet my Liebchen. Oh, I would love to, Edith replied. Why do you not come to our house tonight for homemade cake and coffee? And you can bring Miss Liebchen. Albrecht smiled broadly. That would be wonderful. Oh, but Liebchen is not her name. That means loved one. Oh, is that not nice? Edith sighed. Oh, maybe we could sit around the piano and sing like we did the last time. Albrecht began to hum a familiar tune, his voice rising in the laundry mat.
Oh yeah.
When I am calling you, will you answer to me? Tension at the dinner table. Back at the Bunker residence, the atmosphere was considerably less harmonious. Archie Bunker sat at the head of the table, his face a mask of irritation as he stared down at his dinner. The sounds of the neighborhood drifted through the window, but Archie was focused on the 2 remaining beans on his plate. Hold it, hold it, hold it, Archie barked as Edith reached for his dish. Put that back here. Give me a break, will you? Let me finish my dinner. Do you not see them 2 beans laying there? They're going to be here any minute. Oh, God, Archie groaned, leaning back in his chair. My one night off in a week. And I have to spend it with Clemmer, the horny Hun. Archie, please be nice, Edith pleaded, her voice a soothing contrast to his gruffness. He is getting married, and he is very proud. He wants to show us his Liebchen. Let him show it to his girlfriend, Archie retorted. I am not interested in it. The Liebchen is the girlfriend, Edith explained patiently. Well, I am not interested in hers neither, Archie snapped. All right, you can take my dish now. Well, what about the beans? Edith asked.
I do not want them, Archie said. Thank you.
Look, I do not know why you feel you have to be nice to that guy. He is not your butcher no more. Oh, now that he is getting married, I can go back to his store, Edith said with a sense of relief. He does not care about me no more. Oh, geez, that is what you think, Archie scoffed. You do not know nothing about Germans, Edith. You know, the Germans are never satisfied with what they have. You look it up. It is a well-known historical fact. They gave them an inch of Czechoslovakia, and they took over. Which proves the Germans are none too smart, me. Oh, gee, why do you not like company? Edith asked, her brow furrowed in genuine confusion. I like company, Edith, Archie insisted. I just do not want it to come over to visit. Well, they're coming tonight, so please be nice just this once, Edith begged. Do not keep telling me be nice, Archie grumbled.
I want to tell you something.
If I have to be nice, I can be very, very nice. The doorbell rang, its sharp chime cutting through Archie's grumbling. Damn, Archie muttered under his breath. I would like to wire that doorbell to a wet doormat. Damn Germans. Always on time. They think they can be a little late like the rest of the world. See, you get the door, and I will get the coffee and the cake, Edith directed, scurrying toward the kitchen. And remember, be nice. Oh, gee, Archie sighed, pulling himself out of his chair and heading for the door. He opened it to find Albrecht Clemmer standing there, looking dapper and excited. Well, look at that, my old pal, Al Clemmer, Archie said, his voice dripping with forced joviality. How are you there, Al? Good evening, Mr. Funker, Albrecht replied, standing tall. At ease there, Chancellor, Archie joked. Long time no see. In other words, auf mein Wiedersehen, and hey, auf yours too. Well, do not stand on a porch, Al. As long as you are here, you might as well come on in, huh? You too. Archie ushered them inside. Yeah, just step right in there. And you can put your hats and coats on the available hooks over here. This is my fiancée, Judith Klammerstadt, Albrecht announced, presenting the woman by his side. Archie said, eyeing her. How do you do? How do you do? Judith replied politely. Klammerstadt. Got it, Archie noted. I have heard a lot about you, Mr. Bunker, Judith said. Well, you know, friends will talk. Archie dismissed the thought with a wave of his hand. But listen, I am not half as nice as people say I am. Yeah, well, come on in, and just make yourselves at home. You know, sit down anywheres you want. He watched as they moved toward the living area. Oh, yeah, except for this here chair there. Miss, what do you call it? Because this chair, it is in a hell of a cross-draft here. Cross-draft? Judith asked, looking puzzled. Why do you not move it? Do you want to look at a hole in the rug? Archie countered.
No.
All right, then do what I tell you. Park yourself by the diving board there. It is just as comfortable.
Yeah, sit down.
Archie turned toward the kitchen and raised his voice. I say, Edith out there, I heard they are here. Edith is inside making co-op interviews, Archie joked to his guests. Well, huh? Well. Do you think Martin Bormann is still down in Brazil? All I know is he never walked into my butcher shop in Queens, Albrecht replied seriously. Well, then I guess he is still down in Brazil, Archie concluded. He leaned toward the kitchen door. Hurry on out there, Edith. I am running out of nice things to say. A tense celebration. Edith emerged from the kitchen carrying a tray.
Here we are.
Here, let me help you, Albrecht offered, stepping forward. That is all right there, Raoul, Archie intervened. I mean, she is used to carrying things alone. Thank you, Edith said, placing the tray on the coffee table. My, do we not look nice this evening? Oh, Albert, Albrecht corrected her gently. Edith, this is my fiancée, Judith. When you hear the last name there, tell her Raoul, Archie prompted. Klammerstadt, Albrecht said. Does that not give you a little chill? Archie asked. Oh, it is so nice to meet you, Edith said warmly, ignoring Archie's jab. I got it, Klammerstadt, Archie repeated. Klammerstadt. Thank you, it is very nice to meet you, too, Judith replied. Well, congratulations, Edith said. I am sure you will both be very happy. Oh, look what she ate. That beautiful, Albrecht said, holding up Judith's hand. It is my engagement ring. Guess who gave it to her? Who? Edith asked. He is getting with it, huh? Archie remarked.
Who, you?
Yeah, whoop-dee-doo and knock-tongue there, Raoul, Archie added. Hey, how many cows did you have to club to death to pay for that? It is so romantic, Edith sighed. I do not know what it is. There is something about Judith that reminds me of you. Really? Edith asked, surprised. Hey, Al, I cannot see nothing but your rump roast, Archie complained, trying to see the ring. Albrecht speaks often of you, Judith told Edith. Yes, because you are a special person. And watch this here, because this is where we lose control of himself there, Miss Klammerstadt, Archie warned. Oh, but then so are you, mein Liebchen, Albrecht said, turning his affection toward Judith. Well, Edith, how about coffee, huh? Archie prompted. Oh, yeah, I have got it and cake too, Edith said. Are you hungry? No, I am just drowsy, Albrecht admitted. I thought first we were going to sing some songs. Well, why do you not drink some coffee? Archie suggested. You need a lot of cake there. Maybe you will be too full to sing. Oh, no, we will not, Albrecht insisted. Oh, would you like to sing along with us, Judith? Edith asked. No, thank you, Judith replied firmly. I am not a good singer. Well, to hell with the coffee then, Archie said. You two just sing, and us two just sip. Come on, Albrecht, you pick the song. Come along, Mr. Bunker, come sing with us, Albrecht invited. No, you are out of my league, Al, Archie declined. Oh, we are not that good, Albrecht demurred. That is what I mean, Al, Archie retorted. Well, what are you looking for there? A march? Archie asked as Albrecht flipped through the sheet music. Oh, a love song, Albrecht decided. Oh, get a load of that, huh? Archie said. They're looking for a love song there, Miss Klammerstadt. Klammerstadt, Archie corrected himself. Hey, I am getting closer, though. Whoop-de-doo, as you say. Here, this is a good one, Albrecht said, pointing to a page. Oh, yeah, this is pretty, Edith agreed. They began to sing together, their voices filling the room with a sentimental melody. I love you, is all that I can say, they sang. I love you. The same old words I am saying in the same old way. I love you. I love you. Archie looked over at Judith, who was looking increasingly distressed. I think you just lost half your audience here, he observed. Judith, is something wrong? Albrecht asked, stopping mid-verse. Everything is wrong, Judith cried out, her voice trembling. I am in the way here. You do not love me, you love her. The wife of the fatso. I do not love her, Albrecht protested. No, he does not love me, Edith added, trying to help. Well, he certainly loves your hands, Judith snapped. He is always trying to get them in his mouth. I do not love her, Albrecht repeated. Her Bunker is right, Judith continued, her anger rising. You do that. You do not look at me the way you look at her. You do not sing love songs with me. You do not have a piano. And you do not have a Liebchen. Oh, well, if he has not got a Liebchen, he is not going to make much of a husband, Archie remarked. This shirring, this off, Judith declared, standing up. Judith, what are you doing? Albrecht asked, distraught. I am telling you, you are a nasty, 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 nasty guy. Judith yelled at Archie as she stormed toward the kitchen. Oh, that is what we do. That is what we do, Archie said, unfazed. The Battle of the Bulls. Oh, well, it is your fault you have a sex part, you know that? Archie told Albrecht. No, I am not, Albrecht stammered. I do not know what you are talking about. I am just trying to help you out here, you know?
Margie.
Lover squirrel. Edith called out. We found your ring. What am I going to do? Albrecht pleaded. She will not even listen to me. Please, Edith. Maybe you can talk to her. Oh no, I will not allow that, Archie intervened. You stay out of this thing, Edith. In their Garden of Eden, you are the crabgrass. Well, somebody has to talk to her, Edith insisted.
What?
Archie asked. Oh, hold it. Not me there. Hey, come on. Do not look over here. I am no dear baby. Meet Mr. Bunker, Archie said, referring to himself in the third person. When she is in this mood, a human being can talk to her. You talk to her. Listen now, there is an old saying, Archie began. Hell hath no fury like a woman's.
Corns.
Now, I never knew what that meant, but I always deeply believed in it. But you are forgetting, Mr. Bunker, that an attractive man can always do more with a woman, Albrecht suggested. And there is no use denying you are an attractive man. This comes as a big surprise to me, Archie said, momentarily taken aback. You know, this is why Rome fell. Europeans. Just go for any kind of flesh, as long as it is a little warm. Archie looked at Albrecht. Now, if you want that woman back, and I took a good look at her, and I do not know what you see in her, you will march out there to the kitchen, and I mean mad, and you will give her the old Mark Schnell, and I mean loud there, and you grab a hold of her. You know, the way you used to take us prisoners, remember? And in the 2 years, you get the hell out of here. Gee, that is no way to do it, Edith disagreed. Well, that is my best shot at eating, Archie said. Did you come up with something better? Yes, please, Albrecht begged Edith. Wisdom in the kitchen. All right, I will try, Edith said, heading for the kitchen door. Now, Ada, if you're going to talk to her, talk through the door, huh? Archie advised. I mean, do not go in there. That woman is liable to come at you like Doberman's pinscher. Edith ignored him and stepped into the kitchen. Yoo-hoo. Judy, can I come in? Are you comfy? Oh, we found your ring. You can keep it, Judith sobbed. I am not going to marry a dumb cop who makes cow eyes at you. Oh, Albrecht does not love me, Edith said gently, sitting beside her.
He loves you.
I just remind him of his dead wife, who passed away. You know, Albrecht is a very unusual man. He is a sweet and loving person, and he shows that to everybody he likes, not just me, everybody. That is the way he is. And is it not wonderful that he can do that, show everybody that he likes them? But you are the one he loves. I know that. And I know you love him, too. So if you let him go, you will be the dumb cop, whatever that is. Have a piece of cake. It will make you feel better. Back in the living room, the men waited in tense silence. Oh, what happened? Albrecht asked as Edith emerged. What did she say? Did she change her mind? Well, I do not know, Edith said. What do you mean you do not know? Archie asked. Well, she is thinking, Edith explained. Thinking about what? Archie pressed. Well, I do not know, Edith repeated. What do you mean you do not know? Archie yelled. Whoa, Archie said, calming himself. Hold it down there, will you, Al? Well, see, this is not Stalag Swansik 4. This is a businessman's quiet home in Queens. Nobody ever hollers around here. Now, if Edith says she does not know, she does not know. That is the one thing she does know. I am sorry, Albrecht apologized. Well, you should be, dear Blue Angel, Archie said. And I want to thank Edith, Albrecht added. Edith, thank you. You're welcome, Edith smiled. Judith walked back into the room, her eyes red but her expression softened. Liebchen, I am sorry I caused you all this trouble, Albrecht said, reaching for her. No, Judith replied. It was I who caused all this trouble. I. Hey, Archie interrupted. The eyes have it all. Why do you not both kiss and make up and fly to Milwaukee? Scotzi, Albrecht cried, embracing her.
Meine Teure, ich liebe dich.
My dear, I love you. Is that not sweet? Edith sighed. It is just like the Jerrys, Edith, Archie remarked, watching them. They cannot even wind up a love scene without singing a battle hymn.
Ja, pie, ja.
Albrecht cheered, his joy overflowing. I see, do. Archie joined in with his own nonsensical tune, the tension finally breaking into a moment of shared, if somewhat chaotic, celebration. In the end, the small living room in Queens was filled with the sounds of laughter and music, a testament to the fact that even in the midst of misunderstanding and grumbling, love and kindness could still find a way to hit the right note. The world once felt as structured and as reliable as a well-composed melody by Glenn Miller. It was a time when the air seemed to carry the tunes of the hit parade across every street corner and through every open window. For men like Archie and his companions, life had a specific rhythm and a predictable grace. Those were the days that lived in the memory like a golden sunset, a period when one knew exactly where one stood in the grand scheme of the universe. In that era, the definitions of identity were clear and unwavering. Girls were girls and men were men. It was a world that felt as though it could truly benefit from the steady hand of a man like Herbert Hoover once again. There was no perceived need for a sprawling welfare state because every individual was expected to pull his own weight. Even the old days at Los Alamos ran with a perceived greatness and efficiency that seemed to have faded in the modern rush. Edith Bunker stood within the humming, soapy atmosphere of the local laundromat, a place that served as a communal hub for the neighborhood. The scent of detergent and the rhythmic thumping of heavy machines created a backdrop for the lessons of life she was passing down to her little grandniece, Stephanie. Edith looked at the young girl with a mixture of affection and practical wisdom. She explained that when Stephanie grew up and established a family of her own, she would inevitably find herself coming to the laundromat as well. It was a cycle of life as certain as the rotation of the washing drums. Stephanie, with the innocent rebellion of childhood, looked up and asked if this would truly happen every single week. When Edith confirmed this reality, the young girl declared with a pout that she would rather simply be dirty. Edith chuckled softly, reminding the child that it was not nice to be dirty, although Stephanie remained unconvinced, insisting that she did not mind the grime at all. Edith reached into her purse and handed a bill to Stephanie, asking the girl to go and obtain 4 quarters from the change machine so they could begin the next load. Just as Stephanie skipped away, a voice boomed from the entrance of the establishment. It was Mr. Clemmer, the local butcher, who had spotted Edith through the glass. He entered with a flourish, repeating his hellos with an infectious energy. He approached Edith and took her hand, noting that it smelled wonderfully. Edith, always modest, explained that the pleasant aroma was merely Ajax, the foamy cleanser she had been using. Mr. Clemmer, or Albrecht as he preferred to be called by those he held in high esteem, was delighted to see her. He turned his attention to little Stephanie, asking the young lady to kiss his hand in a gesture of old-world gallantry. Stephanie, ever observant, remarked that his beard felt exactly like the fur of a dog, a comment that brought a smile to everyone present. Albrecht expressed a sincere regret that Edith no longer frequented his butcher shop. He spoke of the wonderful relationship they had shared, claiming with a theatrical sigh that he had been in love with her smile while she had been in love with his liver. Stephanie, echoing the sentiments of many children, loudly declared her hatred for liver. Edith corrected herself, addressing him by his first name, Albrecht, which seemed to bring him great joy. As they sat down to talk, Albrecht revealed the reason for his high spirits. He was going to get married. The news filled Edith with a genuine and bubbly excitement. She bombarded him with questions about the bride, where they had met, and when the ceremony would take place. Albrecht explained that he had fallen in love with this woman primarily because she reminded him so much of Edith herself. Stephanie interrupted to mention that her uncle Archie also shared a deep hatred for liver, claiming it gave him a condition she called dyspepsia. Edith, focused on the romantic news, attempted to clarify Albrecht's comparison. She suggested that perhaps the woman reminded him of his late wife, as Albrecht had often remarked that Edith reminded him of his departed spouse. It was a complex web of resemblances, but the core truth was that Albrecht had found happiness. His fiancée was named Judith, a name that shared a certain phonetic kinship with Edith. Albrecht described Judith as bright, intelligent, a lover of music, and an excellent cook. Most importantly, she loved him. Edith immediately extended an invitation for Albrecht and his Liebchen to come to the Bunker household that very evening for homemade cake and coffee. She imagined they might even sit around the piano and sing, just as they had done in the past. Albrecht broke into a brief, joyful song, his voice echoing the hope of a man who had found a second chance at love. Back at the Bunker residence, the atmosphere was somewhat less harmonious. Archie Bunker sat at the dinner table, his focus entirely on his meal. When Edith attempted to clear the table to prepare for their guests, Archie protested, pointing out 2 beans that remained on his plate. He complained about his one night off being spent with the person he referred to as the horny Hun. Edith pleaded with him to be nice, reminding him that Albrecht was proud and simply wanted to introduce his future wife. Archie, however, remained cynical. He claimed that Germans were never satisfied with what they possessed, citing a personal interpretation of history involving Czechoslovakia to prove his point. He told Edith that while he liked company in theory, he did not want it to actually visit his home. Despite his grumbling, the doorbell rang precisely on time, a trait Archie attributed to the German nature. Albrecht and his fiancée, Judith Klammerstadt, arrived at the door. Archie greeted them with a forced and sarcastic politeness, calling Albrecht Chancellor and making quips about the long time since their last meeting. He directed them to hang their coats and invited them into the living room, though he warned Judith away from his favorite chair, claiming it was situated in a dangerous cross-draft. Judith, a woman of strong presence, asked why he did not simply move the chair, to which Archie replied that he did not want to look at a hole in the rug. As Edith worked in the kitchen to finalize the refreshments, Archie and Albrecht engaged in a strained conversation about historical figures and butcher shops in Queens. When Edith finally emerged with the coffee and cake, the room felt crowded with both people and unspoken tensions. Edith greeted Judith with warmth, and Albrecht proudly displayed the engagement ring he had given her. Archie, unable to resist a jab, asked how many cows Albrecht had to club to death to pay for the jewelry. The conversation took a turn when Albrecht again mentioned that Judith reminded him of Edith. This observation did not sit well with Judith. As they attempted to sing a love song together at the piano, the emotional weight of the comparisons became too much for her. Judith abruptly stopped the music, declaring that everything was wrong. She felt as though she were in the way, accusing Albrecht of loving Edith, whom she referred to as the wife of the fatso, rather than her. The room fell into a stunned silence. Judith pointed out that Albrecht did not look at her with the same affection he showed to Edith, and she lamented the fact that they did not have a piano or a shared musical bond. She decided then and there that the engagement was off. Albrecht was devastated, and Judith retreated to the kitchen in a fit of anger. Archie, true to his character, blamed the entire situation on what he called a sex part, though his explanation was as confused as it was unhelpful. Albrecht begged Edith to intervene, believing that a woman of her kindness could reach Judith in a way no one else could. Archie tried to forbid Edith from getting involved, calling her the crabgrass in their Garden of Eden, but Edith knew she had to try. Edith entered the kitchen and found Judith in a state of deep distress. She spoke softly, explaining that Albrecht did not love her in a romantic sense, but rather saw in her a reflection of the goodness he had lost when his wife passed away. Edith told Judith that Albrecht was a rare kind of man who wore his heart on his sleeve and showed affection to everyone he liked. She insisted that Judith was the one he truly loved and that letting him go over a simple misunderstanding would be a mistake. To soothe the tension, Edith offered her a piece of cake, knowing that a small gesture of sweetness could often bridge the widest of gaps. Outside in the living room, Albrecht waited in agony, questioning if Judith had changed her mind. Archie, growing impatient with the drama, told Albrecht to calm down and reminded him that this was a quiet home in Queens where people did not usually holler. When Edith and Judith finally emerged from the kitchen, the air of hostility had vanished. Judith apologized for the trouble she had caused, and Albrecht, filled with relief, expressed his own regret. The two reconciled with a passionate embrace and words of love in their native tongue. Archie, watching the scene, could not help but make one last comment about the theatrical nature of the moment, comparing it to a battle hymn. However, as the couple found their way back to each other, the underlying value of forgiveness and the enduring power of love remained the true highlights of the evening. The house on 74th Street returned to its usual state, but for a brief moment, it had been a stage for the complicated, beautiful, and humorous dance of human relationships. Moving forward, would you like me to write a detailed character study of Archie Bunker or perhaps expand on another specific scene from this narrative? The golden age of memory often shimmered through the haze of a cigar smoke-filled living room in Queens, where the echoes of a piano played a melody that defined an entire era. Archie Bunker sat at his usual spot, though his mind was drifting back to a time when the world felt a bit more solid and the rules were a bit more clear. He thought about the way Glenn Miller played, those brassy notes that seemed to lift the spirits of a nation. Those were the songs that made the hit parade, music you could actually hum along to without needing a degree in modern electronics. Guys like Archie and his peers felt they had it made. Those were the days. In those times, a person knew exactly where they stood. Girls were girls, and men were men. It was a world of certainty, a world that Archie felt could truly use a man like Herbert Hoover again. There was no talk of a welfare state back then, or at least not in the way people spoke of it now. Everybody pulled his weight, and the old neighborhood of Los Alamos ran as great as a well-oiled machine. Those were the days that lived in the quiet corners of his heart, even as the world outside his door began to change in ways he could barely understand. The transition from those grand memories to the reality of a Tuesday afternoon was marked by the hum of heavy machinery and the scent of industrial soap. Inside the local laundromat, the air was thick with the smell of bleach and the rhythmic thumping of spinning drums. Edith Bunker, a woman whose heart was as large as her voice was high, stood by a row of massive whitewashers. She looked down at her little grandniece, Stephanie, who was watching the soapy water swirl behind a glass porthole. Edith explained with a cheerful smile that when Stephanie grew up and had a family of her own, she would be coming to the laundromat too. The young girl looked up, her eyes wide with a mix of curiosity and dread, asking if she would have to come every week. Edith confirmed it with a bright, "Oh yeah," as if laundry were one of life's greatest adventures. Stephanie, being a child of practical sensibilities, declared that she would rather be dirty. Edith, ever the voice of proper upbringing, gently reminded her that it was not nice to be dirty. But Stephanie was stubborn, insisting she did not mind the grime if it meant avoiding the weekly chore. Edith reached into her purse and realized she was short on change. She turned to Stephanie, handing her a bill and asking if she could go and get 4 quarters for the machine. Just as Stephanie was about to head off, a voice boomed from the doorway, filled with an old-world charm and a heavy accent. "Allow me, Mrs. Bunker," the voice said. Edith turned, her face lighting up with genuine surprise and joy. "Oh, Mr. Quinn," she exclaimed, though she quickly corrected herself as she recognized the man. "I saw you from the outside, and I had to come and say hello." "Hello, hello," the man said, approaching her with a gallantry that seemed to belong to another century. It was Mr. Clemmer, the butcher who had served the neighborhood for years. He took Edith's hand with a flourish, and she laughed, remarking that his hand smelled nice. He told her it was Ajax, the foamy cleanser, a detail that only added to the domestic charm of their meeting. Mr. Clemmer looked down at the little girl standing by Edith's side. "This is my little grandniece, Stephanie," Edith introduced. Mr. Clemmer immediately leaned down, showing the kind of warmth that only a man who loves his community can possess. "Kiss the hand, Fräulein Stephanie," he said playfully. Stephanie, being a bit shy but curious, leaned in. She giggled and remarked that his beard felt like a dog. Edith laughed, explaining to the girl that this was Mr. Clemmer and that he was a butcher. Mr. Clemmer's expression turned slightly mournful then. "Yes," he said, "and I am very sorry your aunt has not come to my shop anymore. We had a wonderful relationship." He looked at Edith with a twinkle in his eye, confessing that he had been in love with her smile, while she was in love with his liver. Stephanie, having the typical palate of a child, chimed in to say she hated liver. Edith felt a wave of nostalgia. She addressed him as Mr. Clemmer, but he softly corrected her, asking her to call him Albrecht. She agreed, saying the name Albrecht felt much better. They sat down together on the hard plastic chairs of the laundry mat, a strange place for such a sentimental reunion. Stephanie sat between them, listening as Edith mentioned that her uncle Archie also hated liver. Albrecht did not seem to mind the mention of Archie. He looked at Edith and told her she looked wonderful. He then dropped a piece of news that made Edith's eyes widen. He was going to get married. "Married?" Edith gasped, her voice rising an octave in excitement. "You're going to get married? Oh, that is wonderful. Congratulations." She bombarded him with questions, wanting to know the woman's name, where they had met, and when the big day would be. Albrecht smiled warmly, explaining that he fell in love with this woman primarily because she reminded him so much of Edith. Stephanie, still focused on the previous topic, interrupted to say that Uncle Archie says liver gives him dyspepsia, though she struggled a bit with the word. Albrecht ignored the medical commentary, focusing on his bride-to-be. Edith, ever humble, tried to clarify. She suggested that perhaps the woman reminded him of his late wife who had passed away, since Albrecht had always said Edith reminded him of her. It was a circular logic that only Edith could navigate. "So you do not mean that she reminds you of me," Edith reasoned. "You mean that she reminds you of your wife who passed away because I always reminded you of her. So she does not remind you of me. She reminds you of her, not me." Albrecht nodded, though he added that she also looked a lot like Edith and even had a name that sounded similar, Judith. Edith was overjoyed for her old friend. Albrecht described Judith as bright, intelligent, a lover of music, a great cook, and most importantly, someone who loved him. He asked what could be better than that. Edith agreed wholeheartedly and expressed a strong desire to meet this lovely woman. Albrecht suggested they come over that very evening for homemade cake and coffee. He promised to bring Miss Judith along. Edith suggested they could even sit around the piano and sing together, just like they used to do. Albrecht began to sing a few bars of a classic tune, his voice filled with a joy that had been missing for a long time. Later that evening, the scene shifted to the Bunker household. The transition was less melodic. Archie was sitting at the dinner table, his face a mask of irritation as he tried to finish his meal. Edith was already fluttering about, clearing dishes and preparing for their guests. Archie, however, was in no mood for socializing. He told Edith to hold it and put the dish back down. He wanted to finish his dinner in peace, pointing out 2 beans left on his plate as if they were a sacred trust. He grumbled about it being his one night off in a week, and now he had to spend it with Clemmer, whom he disparagingly referred to as the horny Hun. Edith pleaded with him to be nice. She reminded him that Mr. Clemmer was getting married and was very proud, wanting to show off his Liebchen. Archie, in his typical fashion, misunderstood the term, suggesting the man should show it to his girlfriend instead. When Edith explained that Liebchen meant girlfriend, Archie remained unimpressed. He told her she could take his dish now, having lost interest in the beans. He questioned why Edith felt the need to be nice to a man who was no longer even her butcher. Edith explained that now that he was getting married, she felt comfortable going back to his store because he would not care about her in that way anymore. Archie scoffed at this logic. He launched into one of his characteristic diatribes about history and national character, claiming that Germans were never satisfied with what they had. He cited the invasion of Czechoslovakia as a historical fact to prove his point, concluding that Germans were not very smart. Edith, used to his rants, simply asked why he did not like company. Archie insisted he liked company. He just did not want it to come over and visit. He was particularly annoyed because the guests were, in true German fashion, exactly on time. He muttered about wanting to wire the doorbell to a wet doormat as the chime rang through the house. Edith hurried to the door, leaving Archie to grumble to himself. She told him to be nice just this once. Archie promised that if he had to be nice, he could be very, very nice, though the expression on his face suggested otherwise. When he opened the door, he put on a forced, exaggerated persona of friendliness. "Well, look at that, my old pal, Al Clemmer," he said with a voice dripping with mock sincerity. "How are you there, Al?" Albrecht greeted him as Mr. Bunker, but Archie kept up the act, calling him Chancellor and saying it had been a long time. He threw in a few mangled German phrases, telling them not to stand on the porch and to come on in. Albrecht introduced his fiancée, Judith Klammerstadt. Archie repeated the name with a slight smirk, noting that he had heard a lot about Mr. Bunker. Archie replied that friends will talk, but he was not half as nice as people said he was. He invited them to sit down, though he immediately warned Judith away from his favorite chair, claiming it was in a terrible cross draft. When she asked why he did not just move the chair, Archie retorted that he did not want to look at a hole in the rug. He directed her to sit by what he called the diving board, asserting it was just as comfortable. Edith emerged from the kitchen, and Archie joked that he was running out of nice things to say. The meeting between Edith and Judith was warm, though Archie could not help but make comments about the long last name, Klammerstadt. Albrecht proudly showed off the engagement ring he had given Judith. Edith called it romantic, while Archie made a joke about how many cows Albrecht had to club to death to pay for it. Albrecht ignored the jab, telling Edith that there was something about Judith that reminded him of her. Archie, sitting nearby, remarked that all he could see was Albrecht's rump roast as the man leaned over. As the evening progressed, the plan for coffee and cake was briefly delayed by the desire for music. Albrecht and Edith gathered around the piano, despite Archie's hope that they would be too full of cake to sing. Judith declined to join in, claiming she was not a good singer. Archie, seeing an opportunity to avoid the noise, suggested that the two of them could sing while he and Judith just sat in silence. Albrecht picked a love song, and he and Edith began to sing with great enthusiasm. The lyrics were simple and sweet, repeated declarations of love in the same old way. However, the harmony was short-lived. Judith's expression darkened as she watched Albrecht and Edith.
Suddenly, she snapped.
She declared that everything was wrong and that she was in the way. She accused Albrecht of not loving her, but instead loving Edith, whom she referred to as the wife of the fatso. The room went silent. Edith tried to protest, and Archie even chimed in to say that Albrecht certainly did not love his wife. But Judith was inconsolable. She pointed out that Albrecht looked at Edith in a way he never looked at her, and that he sang love songs with Edith but not with her. She noted they did not even have a piano or a Liebchen between them. In a fit of jealousy and hurt, Judith declared the engagement off and stormed toward the kitchen. Albrecht was devastated, calling out to her as she left. He turned to Archie and Edith, desperate for help. He asked Edith if she could talk to her. Archie immediately forbade it, telling Edith to stay out of it and calling her the crabgrass in their Garden of Eden. But Albrecht pleaded, insisting that a human being needed to talk to her. He even looked at Archie, suggesting that an attractive man could do more with a woman in that mood. Archie was stunned by the suggestion that he was an attractive man, joking that this must be why Rome fell. Despite his protests, Archie gave Albrecht some blunt advice. He told him to march into the kitchen, acting angry, and grab a hold of her with the same intensity a soldier might use to take a prisoner. Edith, however, had a gentler plan. She went to the kitchen door and knocked softly. She called out to Judith, telling her they had found her ring. Judith told her to keep it, still insisting she would not marry a man who made cow eyes at Edith. Edith sat down with Judith and spoke from the heart. She explained that Albrecht did not love her in a romantic way. She simply reminded him of a happy time in his life. She described Albrecht as an unusual, sweet, and loving person who showed his affection to everyone he liked. She told Judith that being able to show such warmth was a wonderful thing, but that Judith was the one he truly loved. She warned Judith that if she let him go over a misunderstanding, she would be making a great mistake. She offered her a piece of cake, promising it would make her feel better. Back in the living room, Albrecht and Archie waited in tense silence. When Edith returned, Albrecht was desperate for news. Edith told them that Judith was thinking. Albrecht was confused, wondering what she could be thinking about. Archie, reaching the end of his patience, told Albrecht to pipe down, reminding him that this was a quiet home in Queens and not a prisoner of war camp. He defended Edith, saying that if she said she did not know, then that was the one thing she definitely knew. Finally, Judith emerged from the kitchen. She looked at Albrecht, her anger replaced by a soft regret. Albrecht apologized for causing trouble, but Judith stopped him, saying the fault was hers. The tension broke as they moved toward each other. Archie, wanting to end the drama, suggested they both kiss, make up, and fly to Milwaukee. The couple embraced, speaking sweet words of love in their native German. Archie watched them, remarking to Edith that it was just like the Germans to end a love scene with what sounded like a battle hymn. They began to sing together once more, a chorus of voices rising in a messy, human, and ultimately happy conclusion to the night. The Bunkers and the Klammerstats, despite their differences and the chaotic events of the evening, found a moment of harmony in the heart of Queens. The echoes of the past seemed to linger in the air like the fading notes of a grand piano in an old, dusty hall. It was a time when the world felt smaller, more certain, and perhaps a little more musical. There was a certain way that Mr. Glenn Miller played his music, a rhythm that captured the very essence of an era. Those were the songs that made the hit parade, melodies that everyone hummed while walking down the sunlit streets of a neighborhood that felt like home. Guys like us, we really had it made back then. Those were the days that lived in the memory like a warm blanket on a cold winter night. You knew exactly where you stood in those times. Girls were girls and men were men, and there was a clarity to life that seemed to have slipped away with the turning of the calendar pages. One could not help but think that the world could use a man like Herbert Hoover again, a symbol of a different pace and a different set of values. In those days, there was no talk of a welfare state because everybody pulled his own weight. Even the old Los Alamos ran great, a testament to a time when things just seemed to work the way they were supposed to. Those were the days indeed. The hum of the heavy machinery provided a rhythmic backdrop to the afternoon at the local laundromat. Mistress Edith Bunker looked down at her young grandniece, Stephanie, with a smile that was as bright as the fluorescent lights overhead. She explained with a gentle tone that when Stephanie grew up and had a family of her own, she would find herself coming to the laundromat too, just like everyone else. The young girl looked up, her eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism, asking if this would really happen every single week. Edith assured her with a cheerful nod that it would indeed be a weekly ritual. Stephanie, with the blunt honesty that only a child can possess, declared that she would rather be dirty than spend her life in a cycle of washing and drying. Edith laughed softly, reminding the girl that it just was not nice to be dirty, but Stephanie remained unconvinced, stating simply that she did not mind the grime at all. Edith reached into her purse and handed a bill to the girl, asking her to go and get 4 quarters for the machine so they could begin their task. Just as Stephanie turned to go, a voice boomed from the entrance, full of warmth and recognition. It was Mr. Clemmer, the local butcher, who had spotted Mistress Bunker from the street. He hurried inside, his face beaming as he offered a series of enthusiastic hellos. He reached for Edith's hand, commenting on how wonderful it smelled. Edith, always humble, explained that the pleasant scent was merely Ajax, the foamy cleanser she had been using. Mr. Clemmer, whose first name was Albrecht, was delighted to see her. He turned his attention to little Stephanie, calling her Fräulein and asking her to kiss his hand in a gesture of old-world gallantry. Stephanie, however, was more interested in the texture of his facial hair, remarking that his beard felt exactly like a dog. Albrecht laughed, a deep and hearty sound. He mentioned to the girl that he was a butcher, but then his expression clouded slightly with a touch of professional sadness. He told Edith that he was very sorry she did not frequent his shop anymore. They had once had a wonderful relationship, he claimed, noting that he had been in love with her smile, while she had been in love with his liver. Stephanie made a face of pure disgust, declaring that she hated liver. Edith, ever polite, addressed him as Mr. Clemmer, but he gently corrected her, asking her to call him Albrecht. She agreed, her voice softening as she spoke his name. Stephanie added that her uncle Archie also hated liver, a sentiment that seemed to be shared by many in the Bunker household. Albrecht invited them to sit down, his excitement palpable. He looked at Edith and told her she looked wonderful, but he quickly moved on to his own revelation. He had wonderful news to share. He was going to get married. Edith was overjoyed, her voice rising in a chorus of congratulations. She peppered him with questions, wanting to know the woman's name, where they had met, and when the big day would be. Albrecht explained that he had fallen in love with this woman because she reminded him so much of Edith herself. Stephanie interrupted to mention again that Uncle Archie said liver gave him dyspepsia, though the word was a bit of a struggle for her. Edith, trying to clarify Albrecht's sentiment, suggested that perhaps the woman did not remind him of her, but rather of his late wife who had passed away. After all, Albrecht had always told Edith that she reminded him of his wife. Therefore, it stood to reason that this new woman reminded him of his wife, and because Edith also reminded him of his wife, there was a circular connection. Albrecht nodded, realizing the logic, and confirmed that she did indeed look a lot like Edith, and even had a name that was quite similar, Judith. He described Judith as bright, intelligent, a lover of music, and an excellent cook. Most importantly, he said she loved him. He called her his Liebchen, a term of endearment that meant loved one. Edith was touched and invited him to bring Judith to their house that very evening for homemade cake and coffee. She imagined they could all sit around the piano and sing together, just like they had done in the past. Albrecht even started to sing a few notes of a song, his voice filled with a romantic yearning. Later that evening, in the Bunker household, the atmosphere was a bit more tense. Archie Bunker sat at the dinner table, his eyes fixed on the 2 beans remaining on his plate. He was not in the mood for company, especially not for Mr. Clemmer, whom he referred to with his usual colorful and grumpy language. He complained to Edith that this was his one night off in a week, and he did not want to spend it with the horny Hun. Edith pleaded with him to be nice, reminding him that Albrecht was getting married and wanted to show off his Liebchen. Archie was unmoved, retorting that Albrecht should show her to his girlfriend instead. He handed his dish to Edith, even though he had not finished those last 2 beans. He could not understand why Edith felt the need to be kind to a man who was no longer even their butcher. Edith explained that now that Albrecht was getting married, she felt comfortable going back to his store because he would no longer be interested in her in that way. Archie scoffed at this, claiming that Edith knew nothing about Germans. He launched into a historical rant, stating that Germans were never satisfied with what they had, citing Czechoslovakia as an example of their supposed greed. He concluded that Germans were not very smart in his estimation. Edith sighed, asking why he did not like company. Archie insisted that he liked company. He just did not want it to actually come over and visit his home. He grumbled about the doorbell, wishing he could wire it to a wet doormat, but Edith insisted he be nice just this once. The doorbell rang precisely on time, which only served to irritate Archie further. He muttered about Germans always being on time while the rest of the world knew how to be fashionably late. Edith went to get the coffee and cake while Archie opened the door. He greeted Albrecht with a mixture of sarcasm and forced politeness, calling him his old pal and referring to him as Chancellor. He ushered Albrecht and his fiancée, Judith Klammerstadt, into the house, telling them to hang their coats on the available hooks. Archie tried to play the role of the humble host, claiming he was not half as nice as people said he was. He told Judith to sit anywhere she liked, except for his chair, which he claimed was in a terrible cross draft. When Judith asked why he did not just move the chair, Archie pointed out that doing so would reveal a hole in the rug. Edith returned with the refreshments, and the introductions were made. Albrecht proudly showed off Judith's engagement ring, prompting Archie to ask how many cows he had to club to death to pay for such a piece of jewelry. The conversation was awkward, with Albrecht repeatedly mentioning how much Judith reminded him of Edith. This led to a moment of tension as Albrecht's gaze lingered a bit too long on Edith, causing Archie to comment on how they were losing control of the situation. Edith tried to steer things toward the coffee and cake, but Albrecht was determined to sing. Judith, however, was not in a singing mood. She declined the invitation, stating she was not a good singer. When Albrecht and Edith began to sing a love song together, the emotion became too much for Judith. She stood up, her voice trembling with anger and jealousy. She accused Albrecht of not loving her, but rather loving Edith, the wife of the fatso. She pointed out that Albrecht did not look at her the way he looked at Edith, and that they did not share the same connection through music. In a fit of pique, she declared that the engagement was off and rushed into the kitchen. Albrecht was devastated. He turned to the Bunkers, unsure of what to do. Archie, true to form, offered some cynical advice about the fury of a woman, while Albrecht suggested that Archie, as an attractive man, might be able to talk some sense into her. Archie was shocked by the suggestion that he was attractive, attributing it to European standards where any warm flesh would do. He told Albrecht to go into the kitchen and be firm with her, to use the old Mark Schnell approach he remembered from the war. Edith, however, had a better idea. She decided to go into the kitchen herself to speak with Judith. Inside the kitchen, Edith found Judith in a state of deep distress. Judith insisted that she would not marry a man who made cow eyes at another woman. Edith, with her characteristic patience and kindness, explained that Albrecht did not love her in a romantic way. She told Judith that she simply reminded him of his late wife and that Albrecht was the kind of man who showed love and sweetness to everyone he liked. She assured Judith that she was the one he truly loved and that if she let him go, she would be making a great mistake. She offered Judith a piece of cake, hoping that a bit of sweetness would help the situation. After a few tense moments, Judith emerged from the kitchen, her anger replaced by a sense of regret. She and Albrecht reconciled, with both of them taking blame for the misunderstanding. They shared a tender moment, speaking in their native tongue and expressing their love for one another. Archie watched the scene with a mixture of amusement and his usual skepticism, commenting that the Germans could not even finish a love scene without it sounding like a battle hymn. Despite the friction, the evening ended on a note of harmony, as the power of understanding and the simple wisdom of Edith Bunker brought the couple back together. It was a reminder that even in a world that felt like it was changing too fast, love and kindness could still find a way to prevail.